Let's talk now with North Carolina's Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest by phone. Lieutenant Governor Forest, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me on, Harris.
You were perforating your emergency duties at this time, and my first question for you to tell the nation about how the evacuations are going all over the state.
Well, we do have a great emergency management team here in North Carolina that have been preparing for this for some time, and the evacuations are going quite well right now. I mean, our roads are pretty clear, and I think people are taking this storm very seriously. I think they need to, Harris. This quite possibly could be the largest storm ever on record for North Carolina if things continue on track. This perpendicular hit of this storm is going to have some significant impact for most of the state of North Carolina.
You know, I remember reading back in 1954 how long it took to recover from Hurricane Hazel, which was really the last time that the midsection of the East Coast was hit with a storm with 150 miles per hour. A lot of lessons learned in that. Some 15,000 buildings were destroyed. So as you look ahead, how many days of provisions are you telling people to have? What are some of the details that you tell people to really impress upon them how enormous the storm is?
Well, we have some history with this. We get a lot of storms, and we've had power go out for 3 weeks to a month for people. Back when Hugo hit, that came through Charleston and hit Charlotte really hard, people were out of power for nearly a month. When Fran and Floyd came through, there was 3 weeks of power outages as far inland as Raleigh. So we're seeing this storm move into Raleigh as well. You're going to see it move in, impact the coast with really high storm surge and wind, and then the flooding on the coast, and the water is going to sit there and pour down on the state in the mid part of the state for a couple days, and then the flooding is going to reverse and head back to the coast again. So you could see power outage easily for a couple to several weeks if we just base that on history.
You know, what we've learned here recently, too, is the rainfall can be so punishing because of the fresh water that you have in your state. It's a beautiful state. And so much in South Carolina and Virginia as well deal with that freshwater offshore and having to deal with that storm come in and drop all that rain. So these are a lot of people to move. It's not just the coastal region.
Yeah, I mean, we actually, if you follow the track of this storm up through north central North Carolina, we have two really dinky little rivers that carry all that water back to the coast, and the Tar River and the Neuse River. They're going to be well over flood stage if everything tracks as it's supposed to, which floods a lot of towns along the way, and it has massive impact. And our message to everybody, Harris, is take this as seriously as you've ever taken anything. I mean, this is a lot of people are new to North Carolina in the last handful of years, and they've never experienced anything like this before. This really can be life-threatening, and people need to take this very seriously.
Yeah, you know, I've been reading about how many people have moved to your great state. My family was in Fort Bragg many years ago, and so I follow that quite closely. It is a popular place to move to, and as you say, as people are not experienced so much and having to get out of the way of a storm like this for the very first time, impressing upon them that it's time to leave can be a little daunting. Just the last couple of questions for you in terms of what you are told, because I know that you'll start to ramp up at your level of leadership with news conferences and that sort of thing. What is the point of urgency that you're being told right now is kind of a drop deadline, if you will, for getting people out of the way?
Well, I think, you just have to follow the storm, for one. I think what the governor is going to be telling everybody is that, we're going to have mandatory evacuations all across the coast. Everybody's got to be out of there in the next day or so. If you live along the coast, you should be out of there anyway. You should already be making those preparations. Nobody should try to ride this storm out. You need to know where your emergency shelters are across the state. If you live in the path of the storm, find out where those are. Make sure that you're not trying to be a hero in any way. And most of our deaths, Harris, come from people trying to drive through floodwaters after the storm hits the land. And so don't drive through flooded roads anywhere you are. That's a great risk of death. Don't take that into your own hands.
Lieutenant Governor of the great state of North Carolina, Lieutenant Governor Forest, thank you for being with us. And no doubt over the next couple of days, we'll touch back. Thank you.
We'll look forward to it. Thank you, Harris.